Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Make a Good Mega Man Level Contest 2, or Magmal 2 for short. During the last part, I covered 3 levels in the Tier 6 Cyberspace. Those were Joe Man, Crystal Lab, and Nitrogen Man. So let's continue further into Tier 6. With this level. In 37th place is Duwang by QuestMark with a score of 29.8. It seems that it wasn't really appealing to Ace. So 1 energy element and 3 noble nickels. Also, as a brief forewarning, this stage contains a whole bunch of spoilers and references to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4, Diamond is Unbreakable. So if you haven't seen the anime or read the manga, I suggest skipping the stage. Especially for one thing that's coming near the end, but I'll point it out to you when it comes. I also switched over to the Rockman CX skin. It's mostly the same as the regular Mega Man skin, but as you may have noticed, there's some more animation frames when you're running. It's more similar to the animation style of Mega Man 7. I do like the graphical style as well, pretty nice. It reminds me of a cityscape. We started out in the city, now we're in the waterfall with all these bombs everywhere. Thank goodness I have the knockback upgrade so I don't get knocked into the pits. We also have the Batanans, the Hammer Joes, the Spines. Having the Charge Shot upgrade really makes this more useful too. Not to mention the Tate Pecans. Whereas the first part of the stage took place in the cityscape and waterfall, now it's going to take place on top of these buildings. Where we're introduced to the Panditas and Crazy Cannons, as well as the Bomb Flyers. And the Plant Man platforms. Really, this feels like this stage is carried by its own aesthetic. See this radio station, or power station, or lick station? That's also a reference to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. Also, by the way, the 3 noble nickels on the stage are actually located down over here. As well as all these E-tanks and 2 M-tanks. And if you're wondering what Duwang is a reference to, well, the picture in the background is what the titles are a reference to. Duwang is a reference to a terrible scanlation of Part 4 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where the scanlators mistakenly called the city Duwang. There are so many references in this stage that I'll just leave all the references in the description below. I do like the Plantman barrier challenges, or Plantman platform challenges. They're gradually getting harder and they were introduced pretty well. Plus you gotta be in your guard to make sure you activate each one of them so you don't have to backtrack. And this is a nice usage of all the Canapellers as well as the Bomb Flyers. Overall, it's a nice smooth stage. Started out easy around the ground level, now we're in the top cityscapes. A nice reference to the Pepsi symbol as well. Too bad there's no Pepsi Man. Also, pay careful attention to the sign. What it says is here, do not turn left. If you turn left, as I'll showcase right over here, boom, you're immediately insta-kibbed by all of those hands. That itself is also a reference to Diamond is Unbreakable. So for the next section of the stage, do not turn left at all, always keep moving on forwards. Which is easier said than done in several of these situations though. Like for example here. I had to turn left because of the Fan Fiend, but because of that I died. So you gotta be in your guard and make sure not to switch directions. Thankfully you have all these 3 large weapon energies if you need them, and they always restock. It's a nice gimmick sure, but I've noticed a few people got confused with the sign. Honestly, I think there should have been a written sign over there telling you that you cannot look left at all. And I can't really deal with those mets, so I gotta always keep moving on forwards. It's not too bad, especially with all the special weapons we have. Also, those batons are a trap. Nice reference to Shantae over there. Spoiler alert, look away. And by the way, you do not need to defeat Crashman in order to complete this stage. Really, it's an optional fight and you don't get anything for defeating him. So that was the end of Duwang. You may look back at the screen now. Sorry, there were some major spoilers to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4's ending over there. It's a pretty nice overall stage, although putting all three of the Noble Nickels down over there with that large reference to Duwang's origin, really they should have been spread out throughout the stage because you wouldn't think the jump down there just looks like a regular pit. The only difference between this and the other pits is the fact we have that radio tower or that electrical transmission tower. Several parts of the stage are memes and the majority of the stage is JoJo references. I did like the second half, or should I say the third section of the stage with all those instant death hands. I think it should have been telegraphed better and there should have been an explicit sign. Judge opinions are kind of mixed over here, especially with Ace compared to Gururi. Gururi really liked the stage, whereas Ace didn't. I would like to see the Don't Look Back gimmick taken further in a future stage. This stage I'd give about a 29 or 30. It had a nice difficulty curve, nice difficulty progression, although the gimmick with the instant death hands should have been introduced better. But I did like the aesthetics and musical remix, which was also taken from JoJo. Next up, in 36th place, is Lava Factory by DuckSalmon with a score of 30.0. At last we're at the above average stages, although we started encountering above average stages in Tier 5, with a Mega Man for all seasons. 1 energy element and 3 noble nickels. Once again we have the Shadow Man platforms. Oh neat, we have the hopping mets. And we have some nice peppy upbeat music. I'm curious. I see some cracks on the ground over there. Aha! I knew something was off over there because of the cracks and the fact that it didn't flash the same way as the other objects did with the flash stopper. That's how I knew it was different. Oh, and there's a noble nickel. Let's see, I need to do this correctly. Oh, it's a top solid platform. I thought it was a two-way solid, but it's only one-way solid. And I guess this is also a top solid, aka it's a one-way platform. I get the feeling I missed something near the entrance. Oh well, I'll replay the stage. Ah, so this is where you're properly introduced to those platform types. Is it just me or these mets look a little bit different? Also, a bit of forced weapon usage over here. I would have preferred if it was more explicit that you need to use a slash claw, because these look like they're going to be destroyed with explosive type weaponry, not the slash claw. Oh well, minor annoyance. Mini boss time. Against the Metal Poton, or should I say the Metar Dispenser. Ah, there's the end of the stage. Kind of short though. Wait a minute. Aha! I knew it, there was something. Of course, there's an invisible wall over there. The stage couldn't end that easily. I was hoping there was a problem with the solids or a hole in the solids, but nope. It's just there to trick you, and to just jump into the pit. And now we're in the lava itself. I echo my earlier statement from Nitrogen Man's stage. If we jumped into the lava or the liquid nitrogen, normally Mega Man would die. But here, nothing's happening. This is supposed to be molten metal or lava, but Mega Man's immune to it. And we have sea mines over here too. I guess Dr. Light upgraded Mega Man for the stage to give him lava immunity. Otherwise this would be instant death. I'm on the lookout for any of those spike traps, or should I say cracked blocks. Because there are 2 more noble nickels and I get the feeling they're going to be hidden over there. Also, I'm not sure if the musical track fits with this stage theme, or the stage aesthetics and stage challenges. It feels a little bit too upbeat and peppy. It would fit a lot better with a faster stage theme instead of a slower one like here. One that forces you to move a lot quicker, or react faster. Once again, we're introduced to all of these Plant Man platforms. And there's a second noble nickel. Thankfully, there are actually holes in the wall to indicate where all the tellies are spawning from, and they do fit the stage's aesthetic, so that's also appreciated. In other words, they don't feel like they're out of place. And here's Ganam and Gamarm, or whatever they're called. At least that's what I think the boss is called. And I guess we're at the end of the stage. It felt like a traditional Mega Man level for the most part, outside of those 2 cracked blocks that forced you to use the slash claw. They kinda felt out of place outside of getting the noble nickel though. So who are we facing, a Death Kit boss? I thought I was going to fight you, Shadow Man. It would be befitting because this is Shadow Man's tile set. Well, that's a nice reference to the fact that Shadow Man's stage for some reason was a lava factory, when in reality Shadow Man was a ninja-based world master. And this justifies jumping into the lava because it's not lava, it's wine. I guess that makes sense. But it doesn't excuse what I said earlier about Nitrogen Man, but that was a different person. Unless that was Kool-Aid or something. We're still missing 1 noble nickel, and I get the feeling there's something hidden over here. Ah, I was right, there is something up there. Getting to it's gonna be the slight problem. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this was a wheel cutter block. Well, I don't mind it too much because this is supposed to be a secret. This was more like a wine factory though. And I appreciate that you submitted your level to this contest, DuckSalmon. It was an overall above average stage, and I do appreciate that you fulfilled your dream of making a Mega Man level. Pretty nice level. Overall I'd say it's better than Duwang. And it befitted the lava team more than Nitrogen Man did with its more icy team with the recolored Shadow Man tile set. That one should have used its ice gimmick more. Overall, good effort, pretty nice first level. This probably would be a 30 for me. Sure, I rated it the same way as Duwang did, but Duwang failed in different categories. This one had a better design than Duwang, but Duwang had a better tile set and musical track. That musical track better fit the stage. This one, not so much. So overall, 29 or 30. Let's press onward. Oh, that's neat. Apparently the next stage is right over here. The Tier 6 Cyberspace does have a creative way of placing the levels, more so than most of the other tiers. Well, I would say Tier 8 equals this in terms of creativity. So on to the final level of this tier. In 35th place is Just a Nice Level by Pachy, with a score of 30.2. Although Angel didn't like this as much, everyone else has relatively consistent judge scores. Thankfully all the levels in this part I would say are above average. 1 energy element and 4 noble nickels. Let's see what this level has to offer. Oh, this musical track, and also a bit longer for the loading time. I remember this track from Cardinal Man's stage back in Tier 1, although this stage will be a lot better. Oh, I hope I win. Nice reference to the worst level in this game. And we're introduced to the first Noble Nickel. Thanks, Cyrano. So we're introduced to the Peppies and Pingus. Although they fly right at you. For a moment there I thought there were spikes over there. Also, I really like the fact that we have different Met colors. They're a nice cute touch. I'm curious, I see a hole in the terrain over there. And there was a Noble Nickel, so I know what to look out for. Because there was one Noble Nickel at the left side of the stage, now there's one on the right side. Oh goody, Peppy spawning everywhere. We have ice physics. Of course, this is an ice stage. And this is definitely the best ice stage I've played so far in terms of tileset and music. And the music is being utilized a lot better in comparison to what the second worst level did. And I believe this was Cyrano's team in Megamari, if I recall correctly. Like I said, it's a cute touch that we have reskin Mets, even though they act the same way as they did before. Also, I do like the fact that we actually have different utilities as Rockman CX. What's the rush should look like? Okay then. I get the feeling this was taken directly from Rockman CX, or... because this is just a straight-up platform. Thank you for the extra life, Eddie. You've been doing pretty well for the last two parts. Two options, up or down. I get the feeling they'll link up to the same point because this stage only has one energy element. I will show off each of the pathways though. Also, I do appreciate that we can see where all the Peppies or Penguins are spawning from. Of course, these are solid. I'm not taking any chances here. I could do it Buster only, but it's too risky. At least these Peppies are one-shottable. At least I think they're called Peppies. They're penguins, regardless. Oh no. Well, I guess it's time to bring out the Flash Stopper. After all, I haven't been using it as much. Oh, hello there again, Eddie. You've appeared a lot more than at any stage before. You appeared twice. And apparently the snowstorm has gotten a lot worse. Wait a minute. I had the suspicion there was a Noble Nickel down over there. Oh goody, the snowstorm actually activates on us, and like before with the rainstorm in a Mega Man for All Seasons, it seems to only affect us when we're jumping instead of walking. And neat, if we're inside the building over there, it doesn't affect us, but when we get outside it affects us. Something suspicious. Bottom floors over there are also icy. Come on, I really want to try opening that. Nope, guess there's nothing over there. Oh goody, these jumps are going to be a bit scary. Especially because I got surprised by that Peppy launcher. I should have expected that. Well, this is a fair checkpoint placement. It's right before the segment with all the snowstorm. I do like the snowstorm gimmick of where we have to go in and out of the buildings. Whoa. I just zipped through the wall over there. Okay then. But all these enemies have been introduced in a fair enough environment. Okay. That keeps happening everywhere. And we were already well introduced to the fact that the ice physics, or should I say the snow physics, pull you backwards earlier. And we were introduced to all these enemy types as well as the Shadow Man platforms. Yeah, I should have waited here. And yet the snowstorm still affects us if you freeze time. That's not how time stopping works. Really low on this though. Last time I'll be able to use it. Wasn't quite far enough. Now I'll just take the easy button and do it this way. I don't want to take any risks. Oh. I thought there were solid platforms there, but no, they're just part of the tile set. I wonder what that symbol is. Nope, it's just solid and... Okay, I got a bit confused by the tile set there. Yeah, I'm out of that energy, and the black background's blending in with the black background over there. So I couldn't see I was out of energy. I'm just damage boosting everywhere. Oh, this is gonna cause problems. Oh, thank goodness I'm at the end. I didn't find the other two noble nickels though, so I guess they're on the other pathway. Wait a minute, did the two pathways merge in with each other? Because I didn't see the other pathway merge in with this one. But there's only one exit. I guess the other pathway has a teleporter here, maybe a Galaxy Man teleporter. Well, I guess I'll explore the second pathway then. Back over here, so let's take the lower pathway this time. I think this will have a different gimmick than the snowstorm. Oh, neat, we actually have the breakable blocks now. I guess we have a different gimmick, so nice usage of separating each pathway with different gimmicks. We still have the ice physics, but now we're in a cave with all these ice blocks that we can destroy. I see the hole over there, and there's the third noble nickel. I guess the fourth noble nickel is down over here somewhere. At least that's what I hope. Also, bolts aplenty and back up to almost 900 bolts now. 859 to be precise. Now we have the ice cubes that actually break upon impact when we jump on them, so we gotta be a bit careful so we don't destroy the ground beneath us. Plus they do break over time, so we gotta be careful. Also, the nice touch is that the purple mets actually split into smaller variations. And I do like each pathway is distinct. The upper pathway had the snowstorms, the bottom pathway now has all the breakable ice blocks. So let's see how this one's gonna get a bit tougher. This way, it seems. I get the feeling the noble nickels are over here. I didn't mean to do that. I'll just damage boost here because it's safer. Oh no. Apparently the mets can actually just break the blocks too. No noble nickels here. Is that it? There was supposed to be a fourth noble nickel somewhere. And wait a minute. This is a completely different energy element, yet it's grayed out. Okay then, there was a error on the fault of the developers, that includes myself actually, because there are two completely separate energy elements at two different pathways, and they do not link up to each other. In reality, this stage should have two energy elements and 4 noble nickels. So, whoops. At least I covered both pathways, but I'll need to figure out where the 4th noble nickel is. I found where the 4th and final noble nickel is. It's actually up here. See this small life energy? Apparently there's an invisible ladder over here, filled with all these extra goodies and M-Tank, and lo and behold, the noble nickel. Apparently the main pad of the stage before it splits has 2 noble nickels, then the upper pad has 1, then the lower pad has 1. But alas, that's the final one. Honestly, you wouldn't be able to find it unless you had the mapper utility from Nightman. So it's too obscure basically. There should have been a better conveyance indicating that there is an invisible ladder there. Also to clarify, when I mean devs, I don't mean the contestants, I mean the developers of the engine, which includes myself. So I apologize for not helping in catching this earlier. This stage should have had 2 energy elements. And this stage that used the Mega Mario Cyrano team, this was a lot better. The penguins were kind of spammed too much on the top route. Honestly, out of the 2 routes, the underground cave route was the easier one, and the upper route with all the snowstorms was harder. So the upper route needs to be balanced to be easier, or the lower route needs to be balanced to be harder. I still like the stage, and I did like how each pathway had their own gimmicks, like the snowstorms above and the fragile ice blocks below. And I did like how we had those areas above with the snowstorms, with the interior tile set where you can take shelter temporarily. It's honestly probably a 30 or 31 for me. It's an overall nice stage. I did like its aesthetics, I did like its music, I did like its level progression and difficulty progression, nice usage of gimmicks and the peppies. Although the third noble nickel, well, for me it'd be the third noble nickel if I took the upper route, was placed too obscurely, and the upper route is unbalanced in terms of difficulty compared to the second route. Not to mention we had boss corridors, so it resulted in an anticlimax. This would be a perfect place for a Chillman encounter. After all, this is an ice stage. More so than what Crystal Lab did. There are only 2 more things left to do in this tier. First off, talk with Topman. Toss spin gimmick stage. I would have loved to see a toss spin oriented gimmick stage in Magmul 2 or Magmul 3, but unfortunately the toss spin was already used in Magmul 1. Then again, developers and level designers can mod in new weapons to Mega Man's arsenal if they really wanted to. At least that's what I think. Also of note are these slopes. We have a half slope over here and then a quarter slope. Also for some reason there is some black background just behind the slopes that obstructs the Cyberspace background behind. It's a minor graphical glitch or minor graphical quibble. I still think it should be fixed. The second thing to do is to fight the tier 6 boss. Who could the boss of this Cyberspace dystopia be? And we're immediately caught in the wall, and who is that? Well, there's nowhere else to go other than repeatedly pressing jump, so I guess we'll go directly into the wall. And the Cyberspace background suddenly changes to this background. That's a little bit disconcerting. Now, I will be fighting this boss first with the Rockman CX skin, then without it. And the boss of tier 6 is Cheatman. Because Rockman CX already fought Cheatman twice in his own game, now we have to fight him again. And Rockman CX actually has some special dialogue if he fights Cheatman, same with Bass. And as you may have noticed, as I get further and further in the fight, the background becomes even more and more glitchy. And boy, does he have a bunch of attacks. I've noticed it's been kind of a divisive encounter, but I quite enjoy it. Sure, it can get a little bit hectic near the end with that major glitch buster, as well as teleporting around the screen, as well as those bouncing projectiles, but I still found it to be a very enjoyable fight. There is one thing left I want to do, and that is fight it with a different costume. When fighting this boss with Bass, we get this conversation. Apparently Bass is really raring to fight, and he thinks that this is a really worthless Worldmaster created by Dr. Light, who was the main antagonist of Rockman CX. Also, it's always classic that Cheatman starts the fight by destroying the dialog box text at you. And yes, I'm deliberately dying over here because you get something neat if you die and try refighting him. Essentially, you get a different dialogue. And I believe the death dialogue is different for each character. Essentially, there are 3 sets of dialogue you can get. One for playing as Rockman CX, one for playing as Bass, and one for playing as any of the other characters. Now, when playing as any other character, here's the dialogue you get. And yes, Cheatman was one of the hardest world masters in that game. And it was Rockman CX who actually fought him, hence why I wanted to play as that skin in this part. Thankfully, this Cheatman doesn't have any instant death attacks like the previous one did. Because this Cheat Blaster can only reduce you down to 1 HP, unless of course you're already at 1 HP, in that case it's instant kill. So it's a lot more fair in that regard. And there's a big tell for when you should jump, with all of the screen distortion. Let's see. And of course, Mega Man reacts the same way as before, that is, being panicky. What's her weakness? I tried almost everything. Oh neat, you can also throw every single special weapon back at you. I died over here because I wanted to check and see if there's anything extra in this boss fight if you die 3 times in a row. I know you get different dialogue for dying once and not dying at all. Oh yeah, you do get different text. Well, I guess you have to play through this game yourself to see all the different text boxes. After all, you can fight the boss immediately after you enter the tier. You don't need to complete all the levels in the first place. And his weakness seems to be the super arrow. Could be a little bit hard to position though. I still find it interesting he can use his attacks, or use your own attacks against you. And it seems that the glitchy encounter actually changes up a bit depending on where you finish the battle. Alas, that's the end of the Tier 6 Cyberspace. A pretty nice tier filled with mostly above average stages, although some of them I'd say are average. And the final encounter against Cheatman was a nice send-off too. So let's see what the scientist has to say now. That doesn't inspire any confidence, old man. But alas, we got all the things necessary. And there's no mysterious figure trying to talk with us, unlike the last part, so that's good. I want to talk with any of the new townspeople here instead. There's where I'll be going to in the next part. Well, I guess that's all that we have to cover in this part. So in the next part, I'll be going into Tier 7's McWilies. Well then, thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Toodles!